Good morning, everybody. It's Julie Boya here of Wake Up with Gratitude. And I have to say that I don't really understand how the countdown to a live video works. So I just started a live video, but I couldn't start it from the countdown. Anyway, if anyone understands how that works when you schedule a live video, do you just go live at that time, or are you supposed to do something else? So if someone knows the answer to that question, that would be great. This is day 3 in my series of creating a new vision for our lives during a global pandemic. Some of us are in, 4 weeks in, 2 weeks in, 10 days in. We don't even know anymore who's counting. But for me, a lot of this staying home and working from home and homeschooling and all that was my everyday. So I've decided to do this video series to help with some of the things that you're likely struggling with right now if this was not your reality before the global pandemic. So the first video was on your physical and mental health, just really simple ways to remember to stay healthy and to take care of yourself, and with adjustments and things for how it's like when you're at home all the time and living through a pandemic. My second video was on unschooling. So explaining what unschooling is, how we've been doing it for 2 years, some of the tips that my daughter and I use so that I can work while she's doing other things. And also we had a podcast. She and I did a podcast together where she shares all the things that she does, especially when mommy is working. So that's really helpful. So those 2 videos are posted on this page, so you can just go back, look at videos. There's a playlist that I created. You can watch those videos. They're about 30 minutes long. Today's video is going to be on actually just working from home, which I've been doing for 14 years. So it's something that I'm definitely used to. And in the past 2 years, I've actually been working mostly online. So tomorrow's video, I'm going to go into more of the tools that I use, but I just want to talk a little bit about just working from home, which for a lot of people, it's a brand new thing. And you know what? A lot of people don't actually want to work from home and don't like working from home because you don't have that environment of connection with your coworkers or even leaving the house, to do work. But we're not able to do that right now. So I'm talking about working from home, especially in a time where you were not choosing to work from home. And you're kind of thrown into this, how do I make this work? So in 14 years, so the beginning, when I first was working from home, I was by myself. It was just me. And then I met my husband, and then, he lived with me, we still live together. And then we had a child, and we moved out of our apartment into our first home. And then from that home, we moved to another home across the country. And now we live in an actual house. So I've had so many different ways of working from home. I think one thing that we want to just be aware of is that it is harder to be productive when you're working from home, especially when there are other people or children at home with you as well. But even if you're by yourself, just having no other stimulation around, if you're not used to it, can actually be really hard. So I want you to just be okay with the fact that if you are working from home, you just might not be as productive. The opposite might be true for others. So I work really well from home, but I don't have those long and uninterrupted stretches of work where I can get into flow. That's really hard for me to do that. My husband is a computer programmer, so he can work from home, and he did work from home on occasion before this happened. Now he's working from home, until further notice. Thankfully, he is still working. But one of the reasons why he would go into the office is for that quiet, for the uninterrupted flow. The irony of his work is that he used to work in a big office, which made it harder for him to work. And now he then moved to Vancouver Island. He works in a smaller place, and he, would go to the office for that flow state. So you may not be able to get into that flow state working from home. And I just want you to say that it's okay. I'm pretty sure most employers are understanding that right now productivity might not be at the level that it needs to be. And there are some sectors that are actually, they need more people, they're hiring more people, that are working from home, right? So there's going to be an adjustment for a lot of people. Something I've always said is that we need a space that's set up for you to work. Now, obviously, depending on your home, your apartment, your space, you might not be able to have a room with a door that closes. And that is probably the reality for a lot of people. No one really has spare rooms or guest rooms sitting around. If you do, awesome. Set yourself up, get yourself a desk and a chair. If you can get yourself a proper chair, do so. But find a place, if you can find a place where you can close the door, that would be great. So for many years, I actually had my office in the bedroom. I don't recommend that, but that was the way that it was. When my daughter was born, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. She had her room, so we thought it was better for her to be able to sleep in her own room and then for me to work out of the bedroom instead of in the main room, because my husband, who's been a gamer forever, also had his computer set up in like our main living area, and I wanted a place where I could close the door. So you might temporarily need to set up an office in the bedroom. If you're setting up an office in the bedroom, again, get yourself a desk and somewhere to actually work out if you can. It might just be a folding table and a chair, and that's fine. And then at night, it's super important to like shut everything down, turn everything off so that that office isn't bothering you while you sleep. It can keep you from sleeping. When I had a computer in our bedroom, I would just throw a blanket over top of the whole thing, like over the whole entire desk. So find a place where you can work. And it might just even be the edge of your dining room table, and that's okay. The one thing I want to mention that to think about is also having specific office hours. So it can be tempting when you're working from home to work more, especially if you're on your own maybe, or your partner's working from home and you're kind of working in separate places. It might be really just, tempting to just keep working into the night, depending, and some of you might need to, but try and keep office hours if you can. So I was on a call with my mompreneur family last week, and they had a great suggestion about, so if you're working from home and you have kids and you need to do, let's say you need to be on a call for an hour and you can close your door, you put a little sign outside your door, like maybe a little whiteboard or even just a piece of paper that says, mommy will be free at 10 a.m. And then you write out the clock or draw the clock so they know what that looks like. And then they know that they don't disturb you for that little bit. So having office hours, having, a time when you finish working, like this is the end of my day being done. My husband finishes at 4 and that's it. At 4 o'clock, he doesn't keep working. He could, there's always lots of work for him to do, but he finishes at 4 p.m. And built into your day, I also want you to think about taking breaks. So at the office, there are built-in breaks, which again, can really actually affect your productivity in a negative way. But if you are working at your desk or a computer for more than an hour straight without stopping, you are really at risk of creating overuse injuries and pain. And right now we are not, we're not able to get the massages and the physio and the acupuncture and whatever treatments that we get to help our bodies when we've been sitting for a long time. So building in breaks in your day is super important. That's why I drink a ton of water, because I always have to get up and pee. You might notice, actually, you may or may not notice, but I'm standing when I do my videos. My desk is adapted to be a standing desk. I know what it's like to have an overuse injury from being at a desk that is not set up properly or ergonomically. Ergonomics is the study of how your body is when you're sitting at your desk or a chair. At any surface, but really work ergonomics is how do you sit when you're working in front of your computer or laptop. And I had a really, really bad shoulder injury for over 2 years, like so bad that at one point I hired a friend to just come and just literally, she would type for me and do formatting and things for me and images. I just couldn't even use my computer. So I stand when I work now. It's a very simple setup. I have a desk, a regular desk, and then I have this TV tray, which I'm actually going to show you. I'll show you guys my setup actually. So this is my setup. So just a regular desk, and then I have this TV tray. That's all it is a TV tray. And then I have a computer. I don't have a laptop. As you can see, I have lots of sticky notes. And then we're in a situation where that's my husband's office. So he and I share an office. Thankfully, we have this beautiful space that we can share. The room is big enough. Oh, and sorry, I'll show you. Yeah, it's not another tool that I have, a light and a phone holder for when I'm doing my Facebook Live videos. And then when I'm doing videos on my computer, then I put the light behind my screen, and then it helps light me for when I'm doing videos. So be really aware of how you're sitting, your posture, opening your shoulders. You're probably not going to be able to get a proper office chair right now. So just try and sit in a way. I mean, it's so hard to get the 90-degree angles when you don't have chairs that can adjust and desks that can adjust. You know, maybe you need to raise your laptop up a little bit, maybe on like, I was going to say a phone book, but those don't exist anymore. You know, go and find some of your big children's atlases or books, or even a sturdy box, and you might just need to raise your laptop a little bit for you to be at a better angle, 90-degree angle with the shoulder. So lots of breaks have to be built into your day, making sure you're stretching, like getting up and just opening your chest and breathing, because often when we're working, we're like this, and the pain is, you know, in a week you're fine, but by the end of 3 weeks, you're like, I can't even, my neck, right? So relaxing, rolling your shoulders back, breathing, exhaling, deep breathing, all things that are really, really important when you're working from home. Yesterday in my video, I talked about, you know, how we unschool and what my daughter does when I'm working. So yeah, working from home with kids is a whole other category. So once you've got your space set up and obviously if you have really young kids, like, I don't know how you're going to work from home. I just want to be totally frank, is that it's going to be super hard. Now, if you are a co-parent, you have another parent in the home with you, or maybe you do live with elderly, like hopefully not too elderly parents, you're already in the same family unit. Please do not bring people into your family unit, but you might have to, you know, negotiate. So, okay, I'm going to work for an hour, and then you're going to watch the kids, and then we're going to swap. And it might even be just like, I need 30 minutes to get my work done, and I need you to pay attention to the kids. And our kids are going to need more of our attention right now because they're scared and they're anxious. They know something is not right. It doesn't matter how old they are. They know something isn't right because they're not leaving the house. So they're going to want more of our attention. And so you're going to get a lot of banging on the door and, you know, mommy, when you're on a call, and that's totally normal. That's my life even before this, you know, even though my daughter is 9 and she's really good at entertaining herself, there were definitely interruptions and calls and videos and me muting things. I'm like going like this, like I'm on a live video, and that's okay. It's going to happen, and it is absolutely fine. So, if you're lucky enough to be working from home right now, just remember that. Just have gratitude for the fact that you can work from home. It's not going to be the same as working in an office or even in a coffee shop or working from home when your kids were at school. There are going to be massive adjustments, and the likelihood of this all being figured out and you having figured out the work from home thing, probably not. So by the time we are free to roam back in society, you might not have even still worked out this work from home thing. And so I just invite you to be kinder to yourself and just remember, again, lots of gratitude for the fact that you are still working and you have a job to do or a business to run that you can run from home or run online, because there are just a huge proportion of people around the world that are no longer able to work and would love to have the opportunity to work from home. So that's probably the biggest message I would like you to take away from this video, is just gratitude for the fact that you can work from home. I just want to sort of finish up with what's coming next. So tomorrow I'm going to do I'm going to share some of the different online tools that I use that you may already know about, you might not, that might help you. Some of you might be thinking about starting a business right now. Why not? I mean, you might think, what can I do from home right now? So I'm going to share with you a lot of the tools that I use that help me run my different businesses, my online businesses. You know, I have a business with USANA Health Sciences. I've been doing that for 14 years. And I really actually do almost my entire business online. I don't do a lot. I actually can't remember the last time I sat down for a face-to-face meeting with somebody. I mean, I do face-to-face meetings via Zoom. Because often I can't leave the house because I've got my daughter, or we don't have a car or whatever. So we've really adjusted to that. So I'm going to help with tools tomorrow. And remember to go back to the first 2 videos if you want to catch up. So the first one is about your physical and your mental health. The second one was all about unschooling. And then of course today we covered just simple strategies for working from home. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back at the same time tomorrow, which is 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Eastern. Thanks, everyone.